Hey, what's going on people? Listen up, because I've got something that's going to keep you awake at night, and I mean that literally. Sleep Awake just dropped from the most unlikely team up in gaming history, and honestly, this might be the most terrifying game of 2025. I'm talking about a psychological horror game where falling asleep means certain death, where death cults experiment with different ways to stay awake, and where the developers include a 9 Inch Nails guitarist and the creative director behind Spec Ops The Line. This isn't just another horror game, this is art house horror that will melt your brain. But I know what you're thinking, is this worth your money? Or will it put you to sleep faster than Benadryl? Let's wake up and find out. Let's start with what's probably the most insane developer team up in recent gaming history. Eyes Out LLC was founded by Robin Flick, yeah, the 9 Inch Nail guitarist, and Cory Davis, the creative director behind Spec Ops The Line. If you're not familiar with Spec Ops The Line, go play it immediately. It's basically Black Mirror the video game. Here's why this partnership is absolutely mind-blowing. Cory Davis is known for creating psychologically gut-wrenching experiences that make you question your humanity. Robin Fink, when he's not touring with Trent Reznor, has been creating electronic soundscapes that sound like surreal nightmares. You put them together, you've got art house horror that feels like someone filmed your worst fever dream and made it interactive. But here's the crazy part, Robin Fink isn't just the music. According to Deadline, he's actually involved in environmental design and audio direction. So when you hear those oppressive industrial soundscapes that makes your skin crawl, remember, that's literally a 9 Inch Nail guitarist composing your nightmares. And Cory Davis, he's bringing that Spec Ops psychological manipulation to horror. You know that feeling you got when Spec Ops made you do something morally reprehensible? Multiply that by 10 when it comes to horror. This isn't just jump scares, this is existential terror that will make you question basic concepts like time, memory, and reality itself. The result? You've got Blumhouse Games publishing what might be the most artistically ambitious horror game of 2025. This isn't just content, this is art that's designed to haunt your dreams or in this case, your wakefulness. But here's the genius twist, this isn't just stealth horror, this is existential survivor horror where sleeplessness itself becomes the enemy. You're not just fighting monsters or solving puzzles, you're fighting your own biological urge to sleep. Every yawn, every blinking moment, every second you spend in dimly lit areas, it's all progressively killing you. PC Gamer described it perfectly. The whole world is enveloped in chaos and fear after some strange power starts causing the disappearance of everyone who falls asleep. Those who remain exist in a crisis of reckless experiments to keep awake. But here's where it gets truly disturbing, the death cults. These aren't your typical horror game cultists, these are different fractions that have developed different methods to stay awake. The DTM cult, where clinched hoods connected to tanks of hydrox, a compound that causes hydrogen psychosis, producing controlled hallucinations, disorientation, and confusion. The painitors believe self-inflicted pain is the only way to stay awake. They wear clamps and devices that cause constant agony, driving themselves mad through pain. And the machinists use high voltage electricity to stay awake, calling it imprinting, literally electrocuting themselves to consciousness. But here's the brilliant part, you're not just surviving these waking nightmares, you're navigating between them. Each cult has different territories, different patrol patterns, different weaknesses. You're not just avoiding detection, you're choosing which form of waking hell you're most willing to endure. The Hush, this entity or force that takes people in their sleep, well, it isn't chasing you, it's waiting. Every moment you spend awake is a moment you're safe. But every drug dose, every electric shock, every painful self-infliction, they're all temporary solutions to an inevitable problem. This is psychological horror that understands something most games miss. The real terror isn't death, it's waiting for death while being fully aware it's coming. Here's where Sleep Awake gets seriously impressive from a gameplay perspective. The stealth mechanics are absolutely top tier. This isn't just hide behind cover and wait like most horror games. This is alien isolation level tension with a psychedelic twist. IGN's gameplay trailer shows 6 minutes of actual gameplay, and what you're seeing is a masterful stealth design. You're Kitja, navigating crumbling apartment buildings via rickety impromptu bridges, holes in the walls, and deceptive elevators, all while making pit stops at every source of cover. Here's what makes it genius: the cultists don't have harsh line of sight rules. Perhaps thanks to their ill-fitting gas mask, this means if you're careful, keep into the shadows, using environmental cover, you can weave through them without major issues. But here's the anxiety-inducing part: there are no obvious hiding spots. This isn't Outlast where you can hide in lockers. There are no designated safe zones. Every shadow, every piece of cover, it's all improvised. You'll find yourself hiding behind desks, crouched behind broken furniture, squeezed into air vents that weren't designed for hiding. PC Gamer shared a moment that literally made their heart skip beats. They were hiding behind a desk, surrounded by cultists, jeering at how stupid the enemies were for not finding them. Then a cultist suddenly crouched down and stared directly into their soul. They had to race through the apartment and dart through a wall hole to survive. "My heart skipped a couple of beats," they wrote. But here's what's brilliant: you're not just hiding from enemies, you're hiding from sleep itself. The game's subtle darkened areas where you're more likely to fall asleep. Bright light becomes your safe space, but it also makes you more visible. You're constantly weighing visibility against wakefulness. The result? Every moment is calculated anxiety. Every crawl through darkness, every dash between shadows, every moment spent in dimly lit areas. You're not just worried about being caught, you're worried about literally dying from exhaustion while being hunted by death cults. This isn't stealth horror, this survival stealth that makes every breath a conscious choice between life and inevitable death. Now, here's where Sleep Awake gets truly mesmerizing. The psychedelic dream sequences that blend surreal beauty with existential terror. This is where Robin's 9-inch nail background really shines through. PC Gamer described these sequences perfectly. This was a close call. It wasn't the nicest experience, but I have to say, it did look really cool. And that's exactly it. Disconcertingly beautiful. You'll traverse alleyways full of iridescent light that pulse with bioluminescent colours. Bright sunshine creeps through cracks in old apartment buildings, highlighting dust motes that look like suspended memories. The Fathom, this otherworldly land that exists between wakefulness and death, it provides small chunks of beauty among the horror. But here's what's genius: these beautiful moments aren't safe. In most horror games, beauty means safety. Pretty lighting, you're probably fine. Well, not here. The most beautiful moments are often the most dangerous. When you're in these psychedelic dream sequences, you're closer to sleep than anywhere else. The developers call their death screen, wait for it, the death closet. When you die, you don't just restart, you have to walk out of a dark, blurry closet towards a surreal light source. It's existential horror. You're literally walking out of your death into another attempt at staying awake. Here's a sequence that perfectly captures the game's ethos. Your catcher is trapped in a locked server room. In trying to find a way out, you trigger some dream sequence. The floor literally collapses, replaced by floods of rising water. You have to clamber out before the water swamps your lungs. It's confusing and unnerving, but it also looks absolutely incredible. And the brilliant part, these sequences, they aren't just visual showcases. They represent states of consciousness. Bright, pretty areas, you're closer to sleep. Dark, oppressive environments, you're more awake. The game teaches you to be wary of beauty and seek out ugliness, which is such a unique psychological twist in horror gaming. Alright, let's talk real numbers and real value here, because this is where Sleep Awake gets really interesting from a consumer standpoint. The release date is December 2nd, 2025. The game is coming out on Steam, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. No delays, no early access nonsense, full release. The price point, well, here's where it gets very attractive. It's not $60 or $70. Based on the Steam store page and key comparison sites, we're looking at around $30 to $40 depending on platform. That's significantly cheaper than most AAA horror releases. But here's the game changer. There's a demo available right now on Steam. It's a full 30-minute experience that lets you actually play the game's system, experience the stealth mechanics, and hear the dynamic soundtrack and see the psychedelic sequences firsthand. Compare this to other recent horror releases. Little Nightmares 3 was $40 for 5 hours of content, Alan Wake 2 was $50 for 15 hours, Resident Evil Village was $60 for 10 hours. If Sleep Awake delivers on its estimated 20+ hour campaign at $30 to $35, that's exceptional value for a truly unique horror experience. What's your take on this one? Are you downloading the demo right now, or are you skeptical about the art house approach? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear from both the die-hard horror fans and the curious newcomers about this one. If this video helped you discover your new favourite horror game, smash that like button like you're smashing through the anti-sleep injection, and subscribe to Boyzilla for more honest gaming coverage that doesn't waste your time or your money.